Chancellor Zabanda with the news on Zodiac. The headlines this hour. Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament starts scrutinizing electoral reform bills which Parliament turned down in 2019. 5 people shortlisted to attend interviews for the position of Ombudsman. Vice President says preparations for Zodiak Summit, which Malawi is hosting from next week, are on course. And in sports, Tuwaonere Banda and Alinafe Pua to represent Malawi at 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail. The Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament has started scrutinizing electoral reform bills which Parliament turned down in 2019. Chairperson of the committee, Peter Dimba, says the legislators want matters such as the proposed establishment of 30 seats for female members of Parliament to reach logical conclusion. We have a report filed by Winston Kaimira.
The Parliamentary Committee has already met officials from Malawi Law Commission and is scheduled to engage a team from the Minister of Justice. During its meeting with the Commission, legislators agreed with a report from the body that the process in appointment of commissioners at the Malawi Electoral Commission needs to be reviewed. They said in the current situation in which political parties that have high representation in Parliament are the only ones allowed to nominate candidates, other crucial players such as aspiring candidates who contest on independent ticket during elections are left out. Chairperson for the committee, Peter Dimba, said the committee wants matters such as the proposed establishment of 30 seats for female MPs to reach logical conclusion. Some of the legislators also proposed that only Malawians who are citizens by birth should be allowed to contest for elected positions. Malawi Law Commission Director of Law Reform, Mike Chinoko, said the Commission is ready to conduct fresh consultations on the bills should there be need for the process. Parliament rejected the bills in 2019, but some provisions, such as one on the adoption of 50+1 system in conducting presidential elections, were later passed through bills that were taken back to the House in readiness for the 2020 poll. Winston Kaimira reporting for Zodiac.
5 people have been shortlisted by the Public Appointments Committee of Parliament PAC to attend interviews for the position of Ombudsman, which fell vacant about 2 months ago, following the appointment of Martha Jizuma as the Director General for the Anti-Corruption Bureau, ACB. PAC Chairperson Joyce Chitsulo told us Wednesday that out of the 5, 3 are women. Meanwhile, PAC has written the Malawi Law Society requesting for information about the legal profession of the candidates before they attend interviews.
For the position of Ombudsman, it's interviews like we do with any other interviews, and that will happen on 11 and 12 August. That's when we are doing the interviews of one to replace Miss Martha Jizuma. We believe that we are also going to get the best out of the 5. Because we had 11 people applying for the position. It was not easy, let me admit, it was not easy to choose who to shortlist because they all made. But anyway, there are also some other areas that we were looking at. So we have shortlisted 5. We have so far written the Malawi Law Society to give us, a bit of information about the people that we have shortlisted before they even come for interviews.
Vice President Saulos Chidima says preparations for the upcoming Southern African Development Community Zodiak Summit, which Malawi is expecting to host from next week, are on course, and that all is expected to be said by this Friday. He spoke Wednesday during an inspection tour aimed at checking the levels of preparedness ahead of the summit, adding that COVID-19 preventive measures will be enforced and that leaders from other countries are expected to start arriving this Sunday. President Lazarus Chakwera told journalists on his return from the United Kingdom on Sunday that 4 billion kwacha will be used for the summit, which will run from August 9 to 19th. Zule Kanango has filed this report.
Just few days to the big event, the 41st Zodiak Summit. And in just few days, the road from Kamusi International Airport will become busier and hotels filled as delegates will start arriving. On his arrival from the United Kingdom, President Lazarus Chakwera asked Vice President Saulos Chidima to head the preparations committee. And Wednesday morning, Dr. Chidima was already down to business, inspecting the level of preparedness for the event, which will kickstart on Monday, 9th August, and end on the 19th this month. According to the Vice President, so far so good.
There is very good progress. I would say that on a scale of 1 to 10, we are at 9.2. The airport is almost done. The road, I think, very minor works left. We need to do some painting, especially on the road, this Cabra Hotel road that connects to Chayamba. And I think when they finish off this, I would say that in the next 48 hours, we'll probably be at 99%.
The 2021 SADC Summit is expected to have a positive effect on the country's economy, and the Vice President Dr. Salos Chilima believes this is also a beautiful opportunity for the leaders to admire the beauty of our country.
Ministry of Health says the country expects to invest over 15 billion kwacha towards the procurement of 1,860,000 doses of Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine under the African Vaccine Acquisition Task Team mechanism. Chief of Health Services in the ministry, Dr. Queen Due, has told us that mechanism and the doses are expected to arrive in this country at the end of the year. Toera Kumwenda's more.
On Tuesday, in an interview with CNN, Director of Africa CDC, Dr. John Nkengasong, said efforts to bring COVID-19 vaccine to Africa, including the distribution of 400 million doses of Johnson & Johnson, have been made under the Africa Vaccine Acquisition Task Team mechanism, as currently only 1.5% of Africans are vaccinated. Dr. Nkengasong said the purchasing of the vaccine has been done by taxpayers' money from African countries. Following this, Chief of Health Services under the Ministry of Health, Dr. Queen Due, has told Zodiak that the country has since placed an order of 1,860,000 doses of vaccine under the AVAT mechanism.
Government placed an order for 1,860,000. So this is about $19 million.
Health expert Maziko Matemba has applauded the purchasing of the vaccine, saying it is a sign of commitment from government side, especially this time where there is high demand for vaccines.
I'm hoping this vaccine, when they come in the country, are going to support and be able to fill the gap, which is at the moment. But also, we have high demand for vaccines. For Malawi to be able to compete at a global level, but also at SADC level. As you know, Malawi, we're the least country vaccinating our people. So this will go a long way in supporting that.
Dr. Due further said the doses will arrive in the country end of this year. Apart from these, the country currently is expecting to receive 372,000 doses of Johnson & Johnson this week and 360,000 AstraZeneca vaccine doses also expected to arrive later this month. As of 3rd August, at least 142,000 had received both doses of the COVID-19 AstraZeneca vaccine, while almost 456,000 had received their first jab. For Zodiak in Mzuzu, I'm Toera Kumwinda.
Meanwhile, medical experts in the country have encouraged people to first know their COVID-19 status before taking a COVID-19 vaccine. Dr. Victor Miti and Professor Maureen Chirwa have said that medically, getting a vaccine while you already have the virus is wrong. The two have since recommended that people who want to get the vaccine must first get tested when they feel COVID-19 signs and symptoms. Rafael Mosoa filed this report.
Recently, Malawi has been registering a change in perception and attitude by the people towards the COVID-19 vaccine. For the first time in the country, we saw a huge demand for the vaccine, but this does not mean that the country has won the negative thinking, the stereotypes which a large people of the country's citizens holds against the vaccine. Two medical experts, Dr. Victor Miti and Professor Maureen Chirwa, have some important expert advice which can help clear some of these misconceptions about the vaccine. For example, there has been unclear information on reports that some people have been experiencing some pain after getting the jab. According to Dr. Miti, our bodies respond differently to vaccines.
The vaccine is safe, even though it is not a fully active COVID-19 virus, but it has the effect of mimicking, of triggering your body to respond in a way that your body would respond if you're having COVID-19. Now, if you already have COVID-19, that effect might be very overwhelming, in such a way that someone might become very sick, and in rare circumstances, someone might even die.
Professor Maureen Chirwa is agreeing with Dr. Miti, saying that the secret to it all is getting tested.
it would be very important that people voluntarily should go for testing. That's okay. But that should not be a precondition to take a jab. If one feels sick, should wait to take it after.
For ZBS, this is Rafael Mlozo reporting.
And still with COVID-19 issues, workers at the Malawi Electoral Commission MEC are scheduled to engage their bosses over a decision that bars them from work if they are not vaccinated for COVID-19. The workers, through their union vice president, Sylvester Luka, have grown frustrated over the decision, which they say infringes on their rights. The announcement by MEC has sparked public outrage as health experts say it is in conflict with COVID-19 regulations. But MEC insists that the decision was made with the aim of protecting the workers from the pandemic. Chimwemwe Padata reports.
Malawi Electoral Commission MEC employees have grown frustrated over a decision barring all those who have not received the COVID-19 vaccine from duties. They have agreed to engage their bosses over the decision, citing it is in conflict with COVID-19 regulations. Sylvester Luga, Vice President for the Workers' Union, told Zodiak a meeting is slated for Thursday.
We are expecting to meet tomorrow to discuss on issues that have been brought to us from members of staff. The concerns are on what the Commission has done in directing that those staff who have not been vaccinated should not be reporting for duties until they get vaccinated.
A workers' body, Malawi Congress of Trade Unions, MCTU, through its Secretary General, Madalison Njolomole, says the decision does not respect rights of workers and has asked MEC to revisit it.
We at Malawi Congress of Trade Union, we are defending the workers' rights. For that statement, it's a total discrimination among the workers in this country. As you are aware that the vaccination is voluntary, we are planning to have an audience with the authorities of my electoral commissions and trying to listen to each other so that they should understand that they are breaking the workers' rights.
Contrary to this position by MEC, Minister of Health Kumbizeka Ndodo Chibonda is maintaining a COVID-19 jab is one's choice.
The Minister of Health will just give guidance and we advise the public on what we needed to do. And we also made the position very clear that it is not mandatory. So if somebody is doing something contrary, I'm sure there are right institutions who can speak to the same.
Malawi Electoral Commission has become the first public entity barring employees from work if they are unvaccinated. For Zodiak, this is Chimwemwe Padata.
You're watching the news here on Zodiac. We'll be back with more after this.
Are you looking for accommodation in Blantyre? Cedar Place offers you luxury service department accommodation, complete with all your modern amenities, with additional travel and culinary service for your convenience. Whether you choose to stay at night or months, Cedar Place has all the comforts of a home, whilst indulging you in the luxury service you can expect from a world-class boutique hotel. Set against the backdrop of Michiru Mountain and only 2 minutes away from Blantyre CBD, Cedar Place is truly a welcome center of serenity. Book your stay today by calling the numbers on the screen. Cedar Place. Definitive style, complete comfort.
I got a call from my driver telling me that my motor vehicle was involved in an accident in Balaka. I was shocked and very worried, considering that the car was only 4 months old.
Get your vehicle covered against road accidents, fire, theft, and third-party liabilities at CIC General Insurance Limited.
I submitted all my claim documents to my insurer, CIC, and within 14 days, I got my settlement through a bank transfer. I was very delighted and inspired. Later, I managed to purchase a replacement vehicle. Throughout the process, CIC staff were very diligent, friendly, accommodating and professional all the time.
Our professional and friendly staff will ensure that you get the best customer experience that is second to none. For more information, visit our offices in Lilongwe at Area 3 Judge Building, opposite the District Commissioner's office. And in Blantyre, visit our offices at Livingstone House behind Plantation House.
I recommend CIC all day, every day for all your insurance needs.
CIC, we keep our word.
Welcome back. A look at the headlines as we continue with the news. Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament starts scrutinizing electoral reform bills which Parliament turned down in 2019. 5 people shortlisted to attend interviews for the position of Ombudsman. Vice President says preparations for Zodiak Summit, which Malawi is hosting from next week, are on course. And in sports, Tuwaonere Banda and Alinafe Pua will represent Malawi at 2020 Paralympic Games in Tokyo, Japan. Now, moving on with the news. The 2019 Malawi Domestic and Outbound Tourism Survey report has revealed that 87.5% of people in the country do not make tourism-related trips due to financial constraints. The National Statistical Office conducted the survey, which has also revealed that a larger population of Malawians travels just to visit relatives and friends, not for tourism. Tourism Minister Dr. Michael Usi said after launching the report Wednesday in Blantyre that government is working on expanding the sector to make it accessible and affordable to the people. Happy Njalamano has filed this report from Blantyre.
Ladies and gentlemen, Commissioner for Statistics at the National Statistical Office, Mese Kanyuka, says the 2019 Malawi Domestic and Outbound Tourism Survey report outlines areas that need attention to promote the sector.
87% said they are constrained financially. That's why they cannot travel. And then there was about 5.8% which said they were not interested. The sector can target to say, these people who are financially not able, is there a way we can see maybe make the tourist attractions less costly to target them, and also excite the 5.8% who are not interested. So the results are revealing, and they are pointing to some policy directions and the program interventions.
Tourism Minister Dr. Michael Usi said after launching the report in Blantyre on Wednesday that government is working towards improving tourism and make it affordable and accessible to many.
We are looking at all the avenues to make sure that the attraction sites are visited, accessibility is there, and we are also discussing a program that Malawians should be communicated in terms of where to go and what benefits are going to be. So all that gets into the domestic tourism marketing strategy.
Tourism is among priorities in achieving National Development Blueprint Malawi 2063 vision for its potential of creating wealth through job creation.
The country's Accountant General, Jean Mnyenyembe, has expressed concern with recurring gaps and queries observed in the yearly Auditor General's report, citing failure by accountants to prepare bank reconciliation statements, wrong procurement methods, poor records keeping, and payment without authorization. The Accountant General said this on Wednesday in Doha during public finance management training for accounts officers for government ministries and departments. Meanwhile, Malawi Institute of Management, MIM, Samson Sikelo, said they have developed modules such as professionalism, integrity, and ethics to eradicate recurring audit queries. Aunyango Nkoma has filed this report.
The country's Accountant General, Jean Mnyenyembe, observes that changes in government systems bring about recurring audit queries. Mnyenyembe cited failure by accountants to prepare bank reconciliation statements, wrong procurement methods, poor records keeping, and payment without authorization. The remarks were made on Wednesday in Doha during public finance management training for accounts officers from government ministries, departments, and agencies and challenged Malawi Institute of Management to help find ways of dealing with the audit queries.
The MDAs are actually preparing, not that they are not preparing, but maybe what is now remaining is on the how to deal with the outstanding items on the bank reconciliation statement. So that is the area which they really need to work on.
Acting Executive Director of Malawi Institute of Management, Samson Skero, says they have developed modules on professionalism, integrity and ethics to eradicate recurring audit queries.
We sat down with the Department of Accountants General, analyzed the issues that have been recurring in the reports, and as a result of that, we've designed a number of modules that will really help us to eradicate such kind of audit queries in the government. Some of the modules that we have designed are to do with the public procurement, stores management, issues of professionalism.
However, Executive Director for Center for Social Accountability and Transparency, CSAT, Wile Kambwandira, thinks the recurring audit queries are a result of tenders of civil servants who protect each other through transfers from one MDA to another. The accounts officers are attending a 3-day training in Doha on public finance management. For Zodiak in Doha, this is Onyango Nkoma reporting.
Now, moving on to sports, Tuaonere Banda and Alinafe Pua will represent Malawi at the 2020 Paralympic Games, which will run from 24th August to 5 September in the Japanese capital Tokyo. The two Paralympians were unveiled at Kamuzu Institute for Sports in Lilongwe on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Gender and Social Welfare and Community Services Minister Patricia Galiati says government will offer support to the two athletes whom she has described as a huge motivation to fellow disabled youths. And Malawi's top flight league reigning champions Nyasa Big Bullets are yet to register a winner this year's Sekafa Game Cup after being held to a 1-1 draw by Ugandan champions Express FC earlier on Wednesday in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Chukepon Soya scored in the second half for Bullets, who came from behind to force the draw. The People's team were also held to a 1-0 draw by Tanzania's Young Africans Yanga during the opening match of the competition on Sunday. The tournament is being used as preparations for the CAF Champions League and Confederation Cup tournaments, which a number of teams at the Sekafa Kagame Cup, including Bullets, will participate in September. And that's about what we had time for in this news edition, but before we go, a look at the headlines. Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament starts scrutinizing electoral reform bills which Parliament turned down in 2019. 5 people shortlisted to attend interviews for the position of Ombudsman. Vice President says preparations for SADC Summit, which Malawi is hosting from next week, are on course. And in sports, Tuaonere Banda and Alinafe Pua will represent Malawi at the 2020 Paralympic Games in Tokyo, Japan. Visit our website, zodiacmalawi.com, for more news. On behalf of the team, my name is Chancellor Zabanda. Thanks for watching.